Hey, guess what, Leveled Up Gamers community? I have been challenged by another gaming podcast called the Cross Atlantic Gaming Podcast, where the hosts Chocolate Bear, 80, Risky the Kid, and Doc have challenged me to the game of Rocket League. And I will tell you when that challenge will take place. As of now, we're still in the works. It would have happened sooner, but I myself have been traveling, so I was not available for me to start the challenge. But I'm already talking with them, and I will bring Chocolate Bear 80 down. If you have not seen my response video, check it out. I will post it in the link below so that you can see it. Now, on with the show. Hello, gamers. Today we've leveled up to episode 13 of Leveled Up Gamers Podcast, where we don't get old, we level up. I am Tro, short for Troubadour underscore XP, your host of this 3/4 gaming podcast and 1/4 movie club. If you are a new listener and you enjoy the show, I appreciate it if you would greatly review us on iTunes, as it helps this podcast get noticed more. You can also join us on our Leveled Up Discord so that we can continue to grow our community. We stream this live podcast on Saturdays at 8:30 Central Standard Time, and then we usually have it up on iTunes by Sunday. Today we are running a little bit late, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and get started with this show. So today we're going to talk about the following things. First off, we always start with the free games that are included with various monthly subscriptions. Then I always try to talk a little bit about what I've been playing, and then we are going to jump into our topics. Now, last week we did not have a video. We did not have an episode because I was out of town. I had to travel to Dallas to give a presentation. So to make up for last week's missed episode, today we're actually going to have two topics. One from last week, and a bit of news came out last week that I really want to talk about, and one for this week. So the first topic will be, will consoles eventually disappear? And we'll get more into that in a few seconds, as well as the second topic, Call of Duty Black Ops 4 is out. How is the Blackout mode, and how will that affect future Battle Royale modes? Those are the two things we're going to be discussing. Now, like I mentioned earlier, this game is 1/4 Movie Club. This month, the Movie Club segment will take place on October the 27th, making it next Saturday. And we will be talking about the movie The Boy, which you can find on Netflix. It is a scary movie that fits the theme of October. So if you haven't seen it, go out and see it. And on next week's episode, we're actually going to be discussing it and spoiling it. So I hope that you enjoy it. I have not had a chance to see it, but I will definitely get around to watching that, hopefully either later tonight or maybe tomorrow. Now, first up, Games with Gold. I went to Major Nelson's website, which I will link in the show notes. And from October 1st to the 31st, you can download the game Overcooked. The first one, it's a super fun game, a great game to spend with your family, so I highly suggest you get that. Starting October 16, which is now available, all the way to November 15, you can download Victor Varan. It's like an over the top, I guess, shooter. It has a few RPG elements. Now, from October 1st to the 15th, they were offering Stuntman, but that's already over. I hope you were able to download that game because that is a fun game. It's a racing game, but with the stunt elements added to it. And then from October 16th through the 31st, you can download Hitman Blood Money for free if you have the Xbox Games with Gold subscription. I suggest you go and download those games pronto. Now for October on the PlayStation front, you can download Friday the 13th, the game, and Laser League if you have the PS Plus subscription. Also for PS3, you can download Master Reboot, The Bridge, and you can also download Rocket Birds 2 Evolution. I don't know what that game is. And 2064 read-only memories for the PS Vita, but they are cross-buy with the PlayStation 4. So those are the PlayStation offerings. And lastly, I am now including the Humble Monthly, which if you go to Humble Bundle, you can pay $12 a month and get the following 3 games. You can get Hollow Knight, you can get Hitman, the complete first season, and you can get 7 Ways to Die just for $12 by paying that. Now, you don't have to keep on subscribing every month. You could just pay those $12 now and cancel it, and those games are yours to keep forever. Plus, around November the 5th, they will release about 6 more games that you can also keep for the same $12. They just like to hide those to have a reveal later. So I highly suggest it. I'll post it in the show notes if you're a PC gamer and you're interested in joining Humble Bundle Monthly. It's a great way to get more games on your PC for cheap. Next, what I want to talk about today is none other than what I've been playing. And this particular week, I've been playing a lot. Since I've been traveling, actually. I took my Nintendo Switch with me. I rarely get a chance to be on the passenger side, but I had to do a 10-hour drive, and I was able to be on the passenger side for 5 of those hours, and I enjoyed a lot of Breath of the Wild. I bought that game on day one, and I've been playing, and I got bored of it real quickly, to be honest, but all of a sudden, I'm so into it, and at least for 45 minutes before I go to bed, or actually while I'm in bed, I will be playing Breath of the Wild, and I think I've made some progress. I finally am on this giant level where, well, it's not that big of a level actually, but I'm on a giant elephant, and I'm trying to figure out a puzzle in there. Like, I have 2 more puzzles left to go. That's pretty much all I've been playing on the Switch, really. And of course, I've been playing Blackout mode for Call of Duty Black Ops, which is the second topic that we're going to cover later today. I'll tell you my experience with that. But first, let's get started with the first topic, which is, will consoles eventually disappear forever? Now, the reason why I asked that is for the following. Let me catch you up to speed in case maybe you have not heard of this news. It was news to me. Well, it's called news for a reason, right? And Xbox has announced a new streaming service for video games called Project X Cloud. It's a temporary name. I'm sure it will have a different name once it actually releases. But they put a cool video, and I will post a link, the YouTube link in the show notes. And this video explains how it works. Essentially, what they did was they opened up an Xbox console, and they took away all the unnecessary parts. And they placed only the essential parts on like a metal blade, so something straight. Imagine like putting all of those parts inside of a laptop, but that doesn't have the screen. And then they put all of these blades, in a giant warehouse somewhere, and you will be able to access your video games on any device that you own, like an Android phone, an iPhone, a tablet, and even smart TVs from those Xboxes, but you're just streaming the games to your devices that you already own. You can even stream games to a PC or a laptop that is not meant for gaming, because your PC or your phone is not what is running the hardware. The hardware is being run by a console somewhere else, in the middle of nowhere, and all you're doing really is just streaming the content to your device. In the video that you can see in YouTube, you can see the developers actually playing Forza Horizon on their phone. They're playing on an Android phone. So what they're doing is they're holding a controller, and there's like a little casing device that will hold the phone, and that's how they're playing it. How are they using a controller on an Android phone? Well, remember the newest releases of controllers for Xbox do have Bluetooth connectivity. So you're able to connect the controller to an iPhone, to an iPad, or any other device that accepts Bluetooth, and that's how you have the controller inputs. Now, if that's not the only way that you, so I'm sorry, if you do not own a controller, they are also working on touch controls that work much better than anything that has existed, or at least that's what they promise. I have yet to play a game with touch controls that I really enjoy, unless it's just like a card game or something. Now, this is really exciting news for me, because if you own an Xbox console but somebody wants to use the TV where your Xbox is at, you don't even have to stop gaming. You can let them use the TV, go to another room with your iPad or phone, and game from there. Just continue your gaming there. What's best, even if you don't own an Xbox, you can still access the library of games that you purchase and stream them. After reading about this news for Project X Cloud, I started hearing other podcasts though, and I was also reading in forums that this meant the end of consoles forever, or maybe not right away, but definitely in the future, and I have an argument up against that. To start off with, consoles are here to stay permanently and forever, or at least in the lifetime of anyone listening to this podcast. In order for the streaming service to work, you do need very fast internet. And though faster speeds are now becoming a thing in the US, outside of the US, there's a huge gaming market that cannot be forgotten by gaming companies if they want to continue to see their expected yearly revenues. I personally live in a border town with Mexico, and I cannot tell you how many Mexican tourists cross over nearing the holiday times to purchase video games, video game consoles, and video game peripherals en masse. I also travel to Mexico myself, especially if I fancy authentic Mexican tacos. And let me tell you, Wi-Fi or broadband just is not at all in the same place as being affordable as it is in the US yet. Now, second of all, think about streaming services that have affected the technology that are meant to be replaced. For example, we have Netflix, we have Hulu, we have Amazon Prime. These are all paid subscriptions for streaming content. Then there are the free options. We have Crackle, we have YouTube, we have Vudu, and all of the people can stream high quality video content for free through these services. Regardless of these options though, we still have DVDs, we still have Blu-rays, and now there's even a new media out there, 4K HDR discs, that are still big sellers, especially around the holidays. Consoles themselves offer a disk drive to read disc media because there's obviously still a market for it, and there will always be. As gamers, we like to think that our world is the only world that exists. However, there's a huge percentage of people out there who are not trendy with technology, they're late bloomers, or maybe they're just not interested in going all digital at all. Then, of course, you have those who would rather have their ownership of physical media rather than renting it until it is no longer available in the server. But there are enough of those kinds of consumers that almost guarantees that consoles are here to stay forever and ever. So those are my 2 cents, but a very, very smart step that the Xbox is taking, especially considering the fact that Xbox now has a Game Pass. So imagine, even if you don't own an Xbox, if you want to stream games that are available for Game Pass, you can just pay like Netflix, $10 a month, and you can stream at least 100 games from any device you already own. Your only entry barrier may have to be an Xbox controller. And I'm sure that there will also be other third-party controllers available out there for cheaper. So it's a great time to be a gamer. That's all I have to say about that. On to our next topic. which is probably why you're listening to this. How will Call of Duty's Blackout mode affect Battle Royales? That is the question that I was asking myself. Now, I believe Call of Duty came out on Friday, but I didn't have a chance to jump in until late Sunday. And let me tell you, Call of Duty's Blackout mode is out and it feels like a more polished Battle Royale, more polished than any Battle Royale I've played. First of all, though, I want to talk about the two most prominent Battle Royales that are out there, Fortnite and PUBG. Now, Fortnite will not be affected as much. At least I don't think that it will. Because Fortnite is a gigantic beast. Okay? They are huge. It's quite a force to be reckoned with. A super polished game with no entry fee and no limitations on the free aspects of it, other than cosmetics, make for a pretty sure bet that the game is here to stay. Even when people spend money on Fortnite, the average Fortnite gamer will usually spend just $10 to participate in the seasonal changes. On top of that, the above average Fortnite player can usually earn enough V-Bucks to make it to the next season without having to spend $10 again. So they could just keep on going from season to season for free, because that's one of the perks of buying the season pass and being good enough to earn those V-Bucks. Fortnite has become a monster so large that it is now being considered as the next Minecraft in terms of where it is available, because it's available on Androids and iPhones, it's available on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch. And also, it's going to be available pretty much on anything you can imagine. It's also compared to Minecraft, who has downloaded it. I guarantee you that if you're listening to this podcast right now, you probably have downloaded Fortnite and tried at least one match. And the number of people that play it. Okay? Most adults may not like it because it looks very cartoony and prefer something more mature looking like a Call of Duty game. And while high school teenagers may also prefer a more adult looking game like Call of Duty, teenagers cannot easily justify spending $60. Whereas a $10 purchase sounds more approachable for them if they have a job, or for them to ask from their parents. So $60 versus $10, yeah, parents are going to say, you know what, mijo? You know what, son? Stay with Fortnite. It's cheaper. Now, let's talk about PUBG. On the other hand, PUBG is a $30 entry fee, so that's half the cost of Call of Duty. Unfortunately for them, their team is smaller than Fortnite team and the Call of Duty team. Though Bluehole, the company that owns PUBG, has made strides in improving the game since release, their content is more limited and update patches are not as crazy as Fortnite's seasonal events, nor is the game as polished as Call of Duty's Black Ops 4's Blackout mode. I don't like negativity, and I don't like being one. I don't like being a negative person. I usually consider myself an optimist. However, I feel that PUBG is now in an uphill battle versus these two behemoths. One that is free to play, and the other that is extremely well polished and worth twice the price of PUBG. I do wish PUBG the best, and I hope that they're able to find a good idea that can make them competitive against these two other equally prominent battle royales, but they have their work set out for them. Now, there's another battle royale that it has not come out. They are entering the scene soon, and that's Battlefield 5's battle royale mode. The game does release in November, so we will have to wait and see how that turns out. Personally, I've always preferred Battlefield games over Call of Duty games because of the sheer number of players that those games have always had. In fact, I've told myself, even before Battle Royale was a thing, I would ask myself, wouldn't it be awesome if all 64 players were just in a free-for-all mode? Battle Royale was literally right in front of them for them to just turn it into a mode, and bam, they would have had the first Battle Royale game ever. But, at least they're making an effort now. They're joining the rounds. Hopefully it all works out for the best for Battlefield 5 as well. We'll have to wait and see to see how to see if this one becomes a juggernaut to compete with, or if it sizzles like the rest of the battle royales out there. Now, any future battle royale mode or battle royale game after Blackout will have to have the following to stay alive. Out of the gate, they're gonna have to be extremely polished, because if they are not, you know, then it's not gonna look good. They better have some super kick butt skins, decorate the players in something that looks extravagant, unique, or awesome, that you just can't help but, oh, I need to own that. So you either earn it or buy it, with in-game currency, or somehow, maybe through a progression system. And one thing that Fortnite does really well is seasonal events. This any future BR game has to have seasonal events that are attractive, that people want to participate in, and challenges as well as dailies that go along with those seasonal events, as well as unique unlockables that are only available during these seasonal events. And also, the last thing that I think a battle royale mode should have, after now that Blackout mode is out, is an entry point, either price wise, that fits accordingly. That could mean free, or it could be a battle royale that actually costs money. But as long as the polish and the fun factor are both there, then from day one, then the game should be good. There is no more early access battle royales that can get a pass for not being polished from day one. Not anymore. Not now that we have a super polished mode in Blackout mode. So those are my 2 cents on Call of Duty's Blackout mode. Personally, I bought the $100 edition, which gives me access to the season pass. It gives me access to an extra character that I can use in Blackout mode, and I do enjoy it quite a bit. I think multiple times playing. I think like 4 times I've been able to reach second place. I haven't gotten my chicken dinner, as PUBG calls it, yet, or been in first place, but I've been pretty close, so I will get there eventually. I have tried in Black Ops, I have tried zombie mode, which I have never played a zombie mode before because it never really grabbed my attention. But this one I'm really enjoying it. I only played like 2 matches of it, and I really had a good time playing the zombie mode. I'm already waiting for, hopefully, Thanksgiving for me to jump into a little bit more of zombie mode. Earlier today, actually, I was playing not zombie mode, but the normal multiplayer matches, and I was having a lot of fun there too. I think the $60 is well worth it for Call of Duty Blackouts. So a big congratulations on the release of that game to Activision. And even though it doesn't have a campaign anymore, there's somewhat of a campaign-like tutorial with all the characters that are available. So I suggest you try that out if you're looking for a campaign-like experience or zombie mode itself. Okay? Now, I would like to invite you, listener, to our Leveled Up Gamers community on Discord. And I will put that link on the show notes. That way we can have more conversations with the community. If you want to talk to us, we're available daily to you. If you want to follow this podcast on Twitter, you can follow at Leveled Up Gamers. We have an Xbox Gamers Club called Leveled Up Gamers as well. If you want to follow me, your host, you can follow me on Twitter and on YouTube at Trobador_XP. That is TROBADOUR_XP. I cannot thank you enough, Leveled Up Gamers community. You are the ones that will take this podcast to new heights. Thank you so much for being here from the beginning. I hope to see you guys on the next podcast. And go now, get some XP, and level up.